Welcome to Buy the Damn House. This is episode 8.
And we are talking on this episode about the power of networking and Grace's new journey into multifamily housing.
And also, this is just a general catch-up.
Right.
Okay, Christina, it has been a while, so I'm excited that we have picked this back up.
Me too.
There's a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to be more consistent going forward. I
promise.
Super excited about it.
Promises.
Promises. Add it to the list.
Put it on the list. Buy the damn house.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right in. Yeah. How are you? What's going on?
Well, staging. I think the last time we did the last podcast,
yes.
Did we not? Isn't that where the whole staging?
That's where it
all
started.
happened.
We decided on camera, oh, hey, I want to sell.
I want to buy.
Want to buy. Let's make this happen. So long story short is we did make it happen.
Oh, what a journey that was.
Yes.
3 trips.
4. At least 4.
At least 4.
But what we did is we would rent a huge U-Haul in Phoenix and then
I would fly out
full of staging inventory. And then you would fly out and we would drive it to the desert.
Yep. And then we would unload it in all these storage units.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But you guys, I have to tell everybody that it has been such a journey. It's been an amazing experience. I have consistently had 8 houses staged at a time consistent. I mean, it's been absolutely the best decision ever.
Incredible.
The inventory was amazing. It was just, I didn't do any advertising. It was literally me just, like I was talking with Aaron behind the scenes about like getting business, and it's just putting yourself out there.
100%.
Right? It was just
100%.
networking, saying, hey, this is me. This is what I do now.
So Christina, this tells me a lot. Because there are very few businesses in this world that you can just purchase and locate to another location and hit the ground running. I think 8 houses consistently being staged at a time is a success in anyone's scope. This speaks to your brilliance, which is in networking and being effortless with the way that you do business, and you're just such a hustler and a go-getter, so that's amazing. But this also speaks to the fact that there was a real need for this specific service in the Palm Springs area.
100%. And you know what we talked about before too, that, be in the flow, right?
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Absolutely.
And this is so this time last year, January, is when we were talking our first podcast.
Yes.
And I was going full blown into real estate.
Yes.
I just got my license in November of 2022.
Yes.
And I was full blown into it. It's what I wanted to do. And then being that real estate agent for those just 3 short months, I saw the need for the staging.
Right.
Thinking Grace does it. I'll just pick her brain. I'll just buy little inventory, start like she did, small. Of course, then the podcast, and I buy the business. Then bam, I stopped doing real estate.
Yes.
Right? Because I got so busy with staging.
Yeah.
Took over my whole year, which was incredible. Learned so much from you.
Oh.
I'm going to call you, FaceTime you, this. I mean, just amazing learning how to network, like you said, putting yourself out there. And then circling back now to a year later, January 2024 now.
Yeah.
Love the staging business, but I've always wanted to be a, badass, successful real estate agent.
Well, they go together.
And they go together.
They 100% go together. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right.
The entire time I had my staging company, I was a licensed realtor. I didn't work as a realtor, but it gives you so much credibility in the space where anyone who hires you can just let yourself in because you're licensed. You're allowed to be there. They know when you're there. They know when you're gone.
Yeah. That's been having just Supra, letting myself into stage these houses.
Exactly.
I mean, let me tell you just a really quick story. Even today, we just met at this house that she helped me because we had the situation with this couch, and I happened to be walking into the house, and this car pulls up and is like, "Are you the agent for this house?" And I'm like, well, no, but I can be I can show you I'm an agent. And so then I showed these buyers this house that I was there to stage, right? It just life as it happens.
That happens.
So you're so right.
Exactly. And there's no reason why I don't know. I think in some ways it's going to give you a leg up in the real estate agent world because you have this other valuable service, which is, yes, I can list your home, but I can also make it extremely beautiful for photos to get more traffic in when I list it. So that's amazing.
I know. It's been really fun. And just on a side note, I want to say two things. First of all, I have this amazing new woman in my life named Kim out in San Diego, and she's this badass, successful woman who does solar. She works with land development to actually bring solar systems. She works with international businesses from around the world to come to Colorado. So she works all over the nation. They create windmills, wind farms,
and then the solar farms
and
with
the solar
panels.
farms with the panel. Like, she has all that. And she said that if she could tell herself, just on a side note, I remember we just talked last week, and she said, if I could tell my younger self at the beginning of my career, one thing to really harness and learn to propel my business forward is networking, is asking for the business, putting yourself in those a little bit uncomfortable situations, making time for the lunches, the happy hours. Because
absolutely.
It's where it all happens.
Deals are made.
It's where deals are made.
Honestly. And people do business with people they like. We've talked about this many times. The amount... I don't know how anyone is successful in business without networking, without going out there and telling people what they do. And I don't even mean marketing. Your staging company is a full-blown performing business without marketing. But not without networking. And that's the difference.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you're really great at that. And I think...
Oh, well, thank you.
No, of course you know how to work a room.
Flight attending played some part in that?
I think so. Don't you think?
Being in the aisle, being like, "Do you want another coffee? What do you do for work?"
Yeah. Let's chat.
I remember those days. Yes, absolutely.
Puts you out there. So what about this year in a nutshell for you?
Well, I started out the year motivated to obtain my Italian citizenship. And in my mind, it was already going to happen in 2023. That did not. That did not happen. Italian bureaucracy happened, and American bureaucracy. There's just so many documents that you need to search out and everything. But when I sold you the staging company, that was with the sole intention of moving abroad. Since that didn't happen, I did a flip, and I joined a networking mastermind group for a new area of real estate that I don't know anything about. So I'm a newbie at the beginning, and it's been wild. And that's multifamily investing.
Exciting.
And honestly, joining a group where everybody's learning at the same time, but then there are people that are experts in it already, and you just have all these resources that you can draw on. It's been incredible. The name of the group is called The Deal Room, and the guy that started it was him and his cousin, Jennings and Yaden Smith, and Jennings has a podcast. It's called Unlock Your Life, and it's all about investing in multifamily real estate.
I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go up to Northern California for a networking event up there, and I got to meet them. And it was incredible just being in the room with all those people who I learned so much just listening to I didn't really understand, like we said, a lot of what they said, but just hearing the language, right, over and over.
And all the terms are different for multifamily. And there's that in and of itself, I think sometimes is a barrier to entry for people who invest in single family homes, because multifamily is its own thing. But the more you're around it, the more familiar you get with the terms. And it's just a matter of getting in the room, honestly. So you and I and my adorable husband, Scott, are going to a 4-day conference in South Carolina in February. That's all multifamily. And I'm basically throwing you to the wolves because you don't, I mean, you know enough. But
It's going to be fun.
getting in the room.
I'm really excited to learn it and network, and who knows where it's going to lead.
Yeah,
but
I'm dragging you with me.
I love it. I'm here for it. So what do you think is one of the biggest takeaways so far that you have learned from
That's
if someone was starting
terrific question. So I think two things. If you have a solid foundation in how flipping works, right? How you buy a distressed property off market and you rehab it, and then it's the goal is to sell it onwards. You have the foundation already in your toolkit of what syndications are, because that's exactly what they do. A group of people has more buying power than one person, right? So what these multifamily syndications are is a group of people buying an apartment complex, multifamily, or even like a storage unit facility or mobile home parks, whatever. They're all in this same class of real estate. They have more buying power. They go in, they purchase something distressed, they rehab it, and then the second part is there's a lot more money to be made in multifamily than there is in single family, because the value of the property when you're done renovating it is based on the performance of the property. It is not based on comps. Comps aren't a thing. So there's no ceiling. You're not limited by what the house down the street sold for. You're only limited by what you can bring in for this specific property. So when you learn that like the life cycle of a multifamily syndication is exactly like a flip, buy, renovate, get it performing. By performing, I mean put tenants in it, make sure they're paying, all of that. Then the value of the property goes up and you can sell it or refi out, and that's considered like a full cycle.
How long does that cycle take usually, you think, from what you've learned?
From what I've learned, anywhere from like 2 to 5 years.
Okay. So it's more of a long-term cycle than a flip, right? Because the basis of flip, get in, get out.
Get in, get out.
Fast as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
4 months.
Don't lollygag if you want to make money at flipping. Exactly. No, it does take longer, but the returns are higher. So it's super normal in syndications to buy a distressed property for $2 million, spend $200,000 fixing it up and getting it ready, and then selling it for $3 million. So making an $800,000 profit is super normal, just kind of run of the mill in multifamily, and that's kind of unheard of in flipping world.
Oh yeah. And one thing that I've already learned, or my takeaway,
please.
And I actually, it's so crazy. I staged this house for someone who owned a whole bunch of apartment buildings, right? So of course I picked their brain, and they said, pay the extra money for the multifamily in the nicer neighborhood, in the more affluent neighborhood, because of course your tenants, right, are going to be, you're going to do, the background checks on, like as you would for everybody. Yeah. But if the cap rates, the look of the property, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this, 20 doors for whatever it is, the cost, it looks amazing and we could rent it for this much. And oh my gosh, on paper, it looks incredible.
Right.
Go for the deal that's maybe, your cap rate, everything looks a little smaller, but it's in an area that your tenants, are not going, not going to have to be a slumlord.
Oh,
right.
100%.
And that was the number one thing that she said. She goes, don't look always at the potential income.
Look at the location.
It goes back to the number one thing in real estate. Location. I mean,
something super interesting about multifamily is they don't really do this in residential at all. I mean, they skirt around the issue, but multifamily, they're just really cut and dry and kind of mean about it. They're like, Class A properties are in amazing locations, and they're that's the best you can get. Then there's Class B, then there's Class C, and there's Class D. You want to avoid C and Ds. If you find a C that could be a B, if you fix it, that's kind of like the sweet spot for renovating. And Class A properties tend to be bought by institutions. Like that's what hedge funds are buying, are these Class A, gorgeous Santa Monica
Right.
luxury apartments,
Fully
blah, blah.
renovated.
Yeah. So it'd be amazing to get your hands on the Class A, but like realistically, if you're just a small time investor, BC, you're good. Just stay away from the D's.
Yeah. Because it's easy though. Even like with flipping, it's kind of the same with flipping too, right? Single family homes, because it's like you don't want to get caught up in don't get caught up that the deal looks so good on paper.
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's
drive around.
Yeah, drive around.
So one of my new partners in this multifamily verse, his name is Mike. He says he has a 10 and 2 schedule whenever he's going to look at any deal.
Okay.
He goes at 10 in the morning, at 2 in the afternoon, at 10 at night, and at 2 at night. 2 in the morning. Just to get the lay of the land. Like he's doing a little stakeout.
Yeah.
And those are his times when he goes.
I love it. And I was thinking 10 and 2 on a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. 10 and 2 on a steering wheel. Brace yourself.
Brace yourself. High alert. 10 and 2.
White knuckle it. No, so that's what he does.
That's
for
great.
Any property he's interested in investing in. But did you know, okay, so this guy, Mike, he is a multifamily wholesaler.
Okay, exactly. Because when you were talking about back, when you were saying like, if you know the foundations of how a single family works, I was going to throw that in there. Like wholesaling is the same thing.
Yeah.
Single family, multifamily. But instead of making 2, 3, 5,000, you could be making 20, 30.
$100K.
Right.
Depending on the deal.
Yeah.
Like we're looking at this cool one. It's like $5 million. I don't know what the wholesale fee is on that. I'm sure it's pretty good.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Where does he wholesale at?
All over the country. But what he's been doing it for 10 years. Wow. And he just came to the realization around the same time I joined the deal room, he joined the deal room. He was like, gosh, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm selling these apartments and I'm getting this initial payout. But what if I had held some of these? So he did the awful thing. I say awful because I've done this too. He played the what if game. What if I had kept that apartment building? What would it be worth now?
Today.
And that scared him into action.
Yes.
Because, he gave really concrete examples. He said he found this one apartment complex. He got it from a seller direct for like $700,000. He already had a buyer for it. So he sold it to this buyer for $850,000. So he got $150,000 just for...
Right.
Finding it,
the person,
basically knowing the seller, getting it under contract, and finding the buyer. Boom, done. $150,000 is amazing. But he said this buyer immediately, like didn't change a light bulb, went and got an appraisal. He got it for $850,000. It appraised for $1.1 million. Whoa. So that's how much he left
on the table.
In the deal. I know. Oh my God. See, that would keep you up at night, wouldn't it? So
yes. That is so much.
I know. And so that's why he's like, that's not even an original, like I have stories like this all day long. I'm so conservative. I'm such a good wholesaler. I always give the buyer a deal. But what does that do? It means I haven't kept anything. I don't have any apartment complexes.
So, obviously more than I do. So in that case, I'm just going to throw something out there. If he would have said, okay, I bought it for $7,000, I'm going to sell it to you for $850,000. But could he have also, I want $200,000 in equity? Is that a thing? Could he have done that?
What he could have done is say, I don't want to give you this deal, but I'll partner on it. Or don't pay me anything right now, but I want equity in the deal. Okay. So it's usually like you usually get a finder's fee. Okay. It's usually like 1% to 2%. Okay. If you're the person bringing your group the deal, right? Like you get a finder's fee, but it's never like $150,000. Okay. It's like $20,000, $30,000, whatever. But yeah, everything is negotiable, Christina.
Right.
And they talk about this constantly. Yaden and Jennings and all of them, that there's a million ways to creatively structure a deal so it works for everyone. And that's the kind of thing that gets my mind turning, because if you've flipped forever and you've done rentals and you've done Airbnbs and you're kind of bored with the whole thing. Multifamily is like opening a new door and looking and being like, what's going on in there, guys?
Yeah.
Everything's different.
Right. Yeah.
I'm at the bottom. I know nothing. So now I'm just this sponge. I don't want to get analysis paralysis to the point where another year goes by and I don't own any apartments, but I'm really an expert in them.
Right.
Me and Mike are literally just writing offers.
Really?
We're going to just, putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I
We're
love
like,
it.
let's just fake it till we make it.
Let's do
Get
this.
out there. Between us, he has 10 years wholesaling experience. I have 10 years flipping experience. We
Yeah.
can do this.
Oh my gosh, that's a
Come
dream
on.
team right there.
Let's
let's
get
do
in there.
this.
So that's what we're
Did
doing.
you meet him at that wine event that you guys?
No, he's in the deal room and he lives in Phoenix. And I met him for
That's
lunch.
incredible.
And I
Love
was
it.
like, this guy's the coolest guy ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
we're writing-
So are you
writing
making offers in Phoenix right
All
now?
over.
Okay. So
All
do you have
over.
any? Do you want to talk about any that you're doing?
Oh,
Or-
sure. Okay. So okay. Can I talk about something super niche that we're like mulling over
I would love it.
that would make us maybe really special and different in the multifamily space? I'm like, okay, how can we add value? There is a housing shortage in this country with low income renters. You know that, right? Like, especially people that are more vulnerable to homelessness, veterans, the elderly, people who are disabled. There are a lot of grants. There's a lot of government money and insurance money out there for people who are willing to take apartments and make them assisted living or low income housing. But it's hard. There's like paperwork and you have to have inspections and you have to involve the city. And if you don't know anything about placing medical staff, like it's a whole,
Seems
it's
a
a
bit
different,
overwhelming.
it is, it's overwhelming. But I have a friend, she owns a medical staffing agency for assisted living communities. And she's also in Phoenix. So I've been picking her brain, like, what's required? What can we do? So what me and Mike and this girl, her name's Karina, what we are doing is we're looking at, let's buy something kind of small, like 8 units, and let's make it assisted living, or even I would like to do housing for veterans. So like there's all these grants for veteran low income assisted, like basically anybody who's like on the verge of homelessness. There's all these programs out there. Karina is like, oh, I can do the paperwork all day long. It's super easy. I know how to place them and I know how to do all that. And I'm like, well, I can do the real estate and I can make sure that the inspection goes well and I can make sure everything that's required, like it's ADA compliant. I can do that. Right. And we're a dream team now.
Absolutely.
Because Mike finds them, I can renovate them, and Karina will fill them.
Wow. And she knows the process. That's incredible. Great.
So,
that's really exciting. So do you have an offer on an 8 unit right now?
We are going back and forth with the
Okay.
seller because it is not in a dreamy area.
Okay.
But for something like this,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily need to be. But the numbers, if you could really find that sweet spot where you're doing good for your community and for the world, and then also you're able to pay your bills and keep the lights on, this is a win-win. I am not talking about being a slumlord here. I'm talking about bringing in government agencies and doing everything properly and giving people a nice, safe, warm home to call their own.
Okay. One question. Section 8.
Yes.
And putting in the veterans. Do you, let's just say you fill this up, this becomes a home for veterans. Do you get paid by each veteran, or is it like Section 8 where you get paid by the government?
Oh, yeah. So it's, I mean, if for the veterans, I think it's paid directly by the VA.
Oh, it is paid by the VA.
I haven't done one yet, but I know for like assisted living, for example, a lot of these are paid directly by Medicare.
Right.
So like that's who would be sending you your rent check.
Right.
And can I just say, the going rate right now for a 1-bedroom apartment with that's an assisted living apartment that the government is paying for is like $5,000 a month.
Whoa.
I know. And you have to have staff and you have to do all the things, but
yeah.
like these numbers are insane.
Yeah.
So it's worth figuring out.
Absolutely.
But right now it feels like a puzzle, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
I really like that part.
Yes, it's a whole new, yes, like you just said, you've done this for 10 years now and you're ready to move. It's just an evolution.
Yeah,
And it's
100%.
a beautiful evolution that you're on. That's so exciting, Grace.
Thank you so much.
When do you think you'll know? When do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we are
Weeks?
being a little crazy with the amount of offers we're sending out
on
purpose.
Yeah.
Because what's the worst that can happen? They accept it, and then we're under contract, and then we,
figure it out.
try to get some money from people and try to pitch our idea and see what sticks. I mean, there's no harm in making offers.
No,
And that's
as long as they're the right offer. Right?
Yes,
Don't
exactly.
Right. You wouldn't want to lose, but
No.
But you have Mike and you, of course.
And Mike is like
yeah.
an expert at writing offers.
Yeah.
He could do it in his sleep. He's like,
knows how to do it.
He's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You know what though? Going back, kind of circling back to networking, it is like coaching is a part of networking, right? You put yourself in this environment, right?
Yes.
You stepped out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You paid the money, right? You decided to get a coach in multifamily, which led you to the deal room, which led you to meet Mike, and really so it does like
it's
circle
getting
back
in the
to,
room.
It's getting in
Get
the room.
in the room. Have the conversations.
Start the conversation.
And honestly, it's okay to not know everything.
Yeah.
That first conference we went to, that networking event, I didn't know anything. And I got to spend 3 days with people who knew a lot. And I came out of that. It was like a boot camp for multifamily. It was wonderful.
Yeah. But you had you went to learn algebra, but you had, but you already knew, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you had all the,
you'd be all right.
Yeah. You already had the prerequisites to learn algebra, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where you had you wasn't just like a complete newbie going in. But honestly, I think at the end of the day, if you decided to just skip the whole single family thing and just go right to multifamily, it might
be okay.
I think you'd be okay, right?
I do.
I mean, even you might struggle just a little bit more learning, but it depends on your background.
If you know the concepts and you're a hustler like you are, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, hey, honey, don't do that single family thing.
Yeah,
just come with me to multifamily. I'm dragging you with me.
You're like, learn from me
my way. Doesn't have to be this hard.
Take the blue pill.
Yes,
not the red pill.
Not the red pill. Exactly.
Or it might be the opposite. I don't know, but yeah, whatever it is. I love it.
That's so good.
I'm excited for it. It's definitely it's in my top radar,
Well, good.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm making you go with me next month.
Exactly.
So
And
we'll
I'm
keep
so
going.
excited.
And we need to have another podcast after we go when we can discuss everything.
Yes, 100%.
Wouldn't that be
Break
good?
it down.
Yes.
Super excited about that. We should, let's talk to Erin about that.
I will.
And maybe we could do even one virtually while we're there or something.
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well,
that was fun.
that was very fun.
And off we go, and then we'll be back soon.
We'll be
Thanks
back
for
very
listening.
soon. Thanks for listening.